Hi everyone, nice to see you here, part 2 of an assisted sale. Okay, if you remember back to part 1 where we talked about what an assisted sale was and where you might use them. Remember, anywhere where there's low equity or no equity or very little equity rather, or wherever you don't really want that property and you're looking to sell it on, it's just another way of doing that, that option flip type of scenario. Okay. I'm going to go through now over the next 5-10 minutes or so, just explain what the process is of actually doing an assisted sale. What do you actually need to get signed? What do you need to do when you're talking to the vendor and with the banks? Okay. First of all, the first thing you need to do is, once you've got the property deal in and you're ready to do the deal, the first thing you need to do is you've got to get something called a heads of terms. Okay, now the heads of terms, really, it's the contract or the agreement between you and the vendor. It's nothing complicated, it's very simple, and if you look in the manual, we'll give you a copy of it. And what you're really looking to do there is just to fill in a few different items. So the kind of things that you will have agreed is the amount or price that you're selling the property for, or rather buying the property from the vendor. I'll come back to that term buying. So let's take an example. Let's take the example of the £300,000 house. It's worth 300k. It's got a mortgage of 250k. So if we look at that example, what I would do in this case is I would say that in my heads of terms that the mortgage will be paid out in full. You'll then have in the heads of term something which talks about the what happens to the money above that. So I would write, just for simplicity's sake, that it's 50-50 here. So it says 50% of anything that the property sells for above the 250 is split between the vendor, the seller, and me, the investor, on a 50-50 basis. Now you could do this on a 25-75 basis, or a 10-90 basis, or anything you like, but always remember to give them something, because what you want is for them to be incentivized, so that when people come around and look at the property, that they, potential new buyers are looking at the property, that they treat them really well, they show them around, they keep the house nice and clean, and that they're really interested. So if they know they're going to get something, they're far more likely to do that. So make sure you give them some sort of an incentive to do this. Okay, so far we've got these heads of terms which talked about the price that they're going to get, which is to pay off the mortgage in this case, or it could be a fixed amount that they get. So for example, you might have said you will get 270,000, and anything above that we split 50-50 or 80-20, whatever you do, but that should at least cover their mortgage, that price. Okay? And then usually you will have some kind of a time limit. Generally we just ignore that part of it, but it might say that this is going to last for 6 months, this agreement. But generally that's about all you do. Now on a basic assisted sale where you're not doing any refurbs, you're not sorting anything out, all you're doing is getting them an extended time from their mortgage company so that they can go out and sell. This is the kind of deal that you do. What you do next, so you've got this heads of terms signed, is you also need something called a letter of authority. This basically is something that allows you to communicate with the banks, to negotiate on the debts that the current owner has. So you'll need something that states along the lines of, my name is John Smith, I'm the owner of 27 Acacia Avenue, and I give you permission to speak to Hanif Khan about my mortgage application number, whatever it is, regarding this house. Please talk to him about all matters to do with this property. This will mean that I now have the authority to talk to the banks and to discuss the loan with them and see if we can arrange something. The thing here is, you've got to realise that this person is in arrears, this person has not been keeping, they've probably already had discussions with the bank previously, and the banks, you know, have agreed something and they've broken those agreements again and again, and that's why they're in the situation that they are at. When you come in as a new person, clean, if you can make yourself believable to the bank, they're likely to give you that extra time, because what they don't really want to repossess the house, they just want their money back and the arrears paid. So you should be able to say, look, I will make some token payments in the meantime, and those token payments can be, you know, £10 if you can get that, or it might be £100 a month or something, but get the vendor to pay those. But get these small token payments done in the meantime, and then you've got the time to sell the property on. So really, that's about all you need to do in terms of getting the property from the vendor and ready to sell. So once you've got those two documents, what you need to do is you need to send that heads of term off to your solicitors. I use MS Law, which is Shimon's practice, but you can use any good competent lawyer. Make sure they understand the process properly, you know, that it's going to be an assisted sale. And an assisted sale is, you know, is really just an option agreement with a joint venture agreement joined together. So just make sure they fully understand that so they can get this done and tied up really quickly for you. You've got your letter of authority. Once you've got that letter of authority, you can start communicating with the banks. Right. So that's really all you have to do. It's not that complicated. In part 3, I'll explain how you actually sell this property on now using the assisted sale and using the contracts that you've got. So I'll see you in a little while, and I'll explain to you how to sell the property now that you've got it on this contract. Speak to you soon. Take care, everyone. See you later.